Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to our From the Perspective of Edge race. I am Edge Dave, and joining me tonight is our restreamer Scala Kitty, our tracker Ike here, and my co-commentator Vitasia. How are you doing tonight, Vitasia?
I'm super excited about this Edge seed from the perspective of Edge seeds are always fun, and our flag set and objectives tonight are just absolutely fantastic. So I'm really excited for this particular race, especially since we have two of the best that are on our restream featured runners tonight with Commander Leonhardt and Possum Morpheus.
Both of these two, fantastic runners. I'm looking forward to seeing a great race from the two of them. What do you think of these objectives tonight and flags?
Well, the objectives are really interesting in the sense that we have two different boss hunts that we have to do in terms of defeat the King and Queen of Evelyn or defeat Rubicon. So that's a little bit different from the perspective of race where you might be chasing your tail a little bit. The flag sets also are super interesting in that we not only have wild treasure chest hunt, but we also have wild shop randomization, which is not necessarily seen in a lot of our other races. So I'm really looking forward to not just an exciting race, but something that there's going to be a high degree of variation between our two runners.
I'm expecting a lot of power. We have not to mention, we have the dupe glitch on, so all the expensive items in the shops, yeah, you can afford them all.
Absolutely. You take a second. The duplication glitch can take just a half second to set up, but if you have a nice weapon to start and you duplicate, the glitched out, over 255 of one thing, yeah, money is not an issue. And with shops being wild, it's just a matter of just finding what you want to buy at that point in time.
So our runners will need where that K trap is on, so we're going to be seeing a lot of traps being taken. I'm checking. We have K traps without vanilla traps, so while normally under wild and shops and effectively free don't take open chests, our runners gonna have to, open a few of those boxes.
Absolutely. And we have, of course, our Edge start with Cecil, our best boy here, helping out. And by the way, it was a forced hook start, but we got the hook right out the gate. That's going to be, I think, the first question that is asked of our runners. How soon do you dive that hook route?
We'll see what our runners decide to do. I think with a Cecil, we're going to at least see an Ordeals dive first, because what's better than a Dark Knight Cecil? We got to make them all shiny, bright, able to wield the big swingies.
Absolutely. I mean, Cecil is, one of those characters that really needs no introduction once he gets fully online. And we do see Possum Morpheus immediately setting up that item dupe right there. Edge does come fully equipped, so that short sword is going to be the best thing for us to dupe right now. And he is immediately selling and has all the money.
And it turns that money into a sizable chunk of J items. That will be fantastic for the early game. On the other side, you see Commander Leonhardt immediately decide to start clearing.
We do see Rosa up on Mount Hobbs, which is a fantastic place to start kind of right away. You want to make sure to build out your party. I don't necessarily blame him for going immediately. Oh, hi! How would you like a crystal sword immediately available to you?
Well, I think I know Possum's next stop.
Yeah, with that stack of J items that he had that he was able to buy immediately, there's absolutely no reason that his party can't immediately get that Crystal Sword Cecil activated. Does look like Commander Leonhardt has that short sword that is he duped in the middle of the boss fight, so did not take an early fight, but said, hey, why not? Let's just go ahead and dupe in the middle of the boss fight. So a little bit of I would say, more efficiency on Commander Leonhardt's side, but Possum Orpheus was then able to turn around and immediately cash in and start purchasing immediately.
That's two different and very valid ways of handling the dupe glitch, especially early. And we see Commander Leonhardt getting the is that 34? No, 3.4 million gil. Still a lot.
It's enough. I would venture to guess if you do the dupe glitch and can pull it off reasonably well, there's no reason for you to have to open any treasure chests unless you're specifically looking for those trap chests, which will be interesting. As you mentioned earlier, the trap chests are required locations for our key items. So we will be opening at least a handful of treasure chests in, say, Eblin Castle. I got to imagine that we'll be opening, them all over the place as we're trying to hunt through and find our power. Possum Orpheus still has not found another character. We do have Rosa that's available that Commander Leonhardt has already picked up, and I feel like we're in like the shopper sweepstakes right now. Mm-hmm. It's just shopping.
Yep. For anyone who plays on our ladder, we have a flag set called Supermarket Sweep, and Possum Orpheus' opening here is very reminiscent to this opening we see used a lot in that flag set. Where it's just, hit all the shops, get all the power early, get your characters, and then go.
Which makes sense, right? Because, the power balance in Final Fantasy IV is really kind of brilliant in that half of the power comes from levels and half of the power comes from gear. And if you can get all the gear in the first 10 minutes of the game, why not?
Exactly. And we did see the pass for sale down in Agart. I did fail to notice that the P shop flag is on, so the pass is in one of our shops.
It is reasonable to keep in mind that because this is from the perspective of Edge story, the only characters that are going to be available to us in the game are going to be characters that were in a party with Edge at some point. Now, that pretty much means it's just the endgame party plus Fu. So there's not going to be a whole lot of party variation between the two. Unless we want to substitute a Fu for a Rydia or someone.
Right, because in the vanilla game, Edge joins kind of late.
I would say, very late. I'd like at about the halfway point in the game, I would say, roughly.
He joins just before Upper Babel, which would be that, then... what's after that? Luca Cave and then the Moon.
Yeah, just the power ramp between like when you first go to the moon and then when you finally end up there is just ridiculous. So he joins at level 25, and if you beat the game at level 50, then do the math.
Very good way of putting it. Commander Leonhardt finding kind of a rude back attack.
That is. Evil Wall is not necessarily fun. I do think he has a couple of Murasames. So his edge is certainly carrying the weight here. Possum is not fully equipping his edge, at least quite yet. I saw a full moon right there.
Possum's got big old stacks of J items, so no need to equip yet. Or light sword darts work too.
So Commander Leonhardt is through the second fight. Meanwhile, Possum is joining a little bit later, coming through. Has more J items to get through this, but also has fewer characters. So is reliant on just Cecil and Edge at this point. Edge being our primary character, we see Commander Leonhardt. Edge is going it into the top of Mount Ordeals alone. Unlike some other, from the perspective of where our hero goes into this alone, this one shouldn't be a problem whatsoever.
Oh, that's just dolls here. That's most likely a flame cast or J item using your out.
Yeah, flame should do it. One thing worth noting, Commander Leonhardt has not picked up that crystal sword for Cecil yet. I think that's going to be along his route because he's shown that he's gone shopping quite a bit up to this point in time. So I think he'll eventually pick it up, but Possum Morpheus is going to have that Crystal Sword Cecil available from level 1.
Exactly. So, yeah, it seems that Commander Leonhardt's strategy has just been to mix in the shopping and the clearing. Just, I don't want to retrace my steps. I have the power to get through. We may just see a Baron in play into. Oh, I see. We're duping that defense sword.
Yeah, that's super interesting because being able to dupe that defense sword does mean that we're going to have lots of darts for our Edge. Who cares about Masa, Muro, whatever you have equipped, if you're throwing defense swords at enemy spaces?
Exactly. With the way the dart formula works, it basically Edge's level times weapon power, and defense swords are 100 power, 105 power, something like that.
A lot power is I think the only thing that could possibly be higher, if not the spoon, which we need Edward to dupe at that point in time, would be the Excalibur, which, hey, I'm fine at that point in time.
I think that encounter was just, I forgot to turn my counters back off.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Possum has now escaped everything a little bit sooner. So yeah, he's turning everything off and now will be leaving the mountain.
Hey, better doing it here than after a full D-Machine grind.
Facts.
And Commander Leonhardt's going to give us the first peek inside Mist Cave. We are on 2 boss hunts.
Absolutely. And there's a wyvern there. I mean, okay, I'm going to reset out of that. But, for those of us who have been practicing for the upcoming tournament, where we have all boss hunts, checking the Mist Cave and the Watery Pass have been kind of key things to do very, very quickly and very early on. Which, by the way, if you haven't already joined or haven't signed up for the tournament, thank you to our restreamer Scala Kitty for showing up. Highway to the Zima Zone 5 is accepting signups right now for our fall tournament. It is a dual tournament, Blue Moon and Red Moon phases. So get over to our Discord and check it out if you have not already done so. Always accepting newcomers. Feel free to join if this is your first tournament. Welcome, or just join us over on our Discord because we're kind of a cool online community that you should absolutely join if you're into things like you're seeing right now.
So, are you doing? Have you signed up for the tournament yet?
I have not officially signed up, but I'm absolutely going to sign up for the Blue Moon route.
You knew where I was headed next.
I did. It's interesting because there are some restrictions if you've been a top performer in a lot of our other tournaments, and they explain everything as to what qualifies as a top performer. You are required to go the Red Moon route. I was only at one point considered even remotely good, so I'm going to go down the Blue Moon route, and I've been practicing on that. So feel free to come challenge me, folks, if you're out there in internet land. I would love to see some new faces in the community come out and race.
Well, I will be joining you in the Blue Moon. I have not 36 for Red Moon, but I have been practicing and finding new and exciting ways to throw.
Well, Dave, and for those of you who don't know, Dave and I are actually partners in one of our community clubs right now, the Torian Tango. So we've been racing and playing together quite a bit anyway. So I really look forward to just the inevitability that's going to be you and I in like the round of 32 or something.
While we're going through that, Commander Leonhard found Rydia just waiting in the Baron Inn. That is an objective.
I mean, that's nice. We love to see an early objective get done. That's perfectly fine. No other key item checks up to this point in time, though. It does look like Morpheus is through. He gets, hey, remember that defense sword?
Yeah, I think Morpheus would like one too. So I want to say correct, we are on 3 boss hunts. The Kano free flag is on, so our good friend D.Mist could be gaining a key item as well.
Ah, yes, our old friend the D-Mist could also be holding a key item, which we have to go back during Turbin in the Mist Village, which is, a little bit of an out-of-the-way journey for us, but, we'll go ahead and do it as required. Interesting that neither of these runners have done Antlion Cave yet. Like, completely dodged it and said, not my problem.
Well, that Moonveil is nice. That can make the second hook route boss free.
Absolutely, depending on what it is. That is a great pickup.
For anyone who doesn't know, the Moonveil puts a fairly long duration reflect on the character, and this allows him to say no to all physical attacks.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily listed out in the original text. You just think it's a long duration reflect, but no, it will let you dodge everything. And don't you know it, as soon as I say, hey, everyone's dodging Antlion, everyone goes to Antlion.
I think they can hear you.
If they can, they're cheating. So they cannot hear me. Absolutely, I'm not implying anything. Yeah.
Or it's still a boss check, it's a key item check. Probably a good idea to go there.
Yeah, ultimately it's pretty good. Although, we do know, for example, that our forced logic does indicate that we need to go into the underground by the hook. And we have the hook already. So, I wouldn't put it past anyone just already dive that hook route. Because it's just a silver apple.
And that will hopefully keep Dr. Lugay away. Edge wants nothing to do with the guy.
I see what you did there. All right, meanwhile, so our runners are now through Antlion Cave. Now, just making some etc. checks. Looks like Possum is also checking the Mist Cave.
You're on boss hunts. You want to deal with, or you want to check these?
Well, it makes sense for boss hunts. Absolutely. Interesting to note that Possum hasn't, if he's looking for boss hunts, he still hasn't gone over to do Hobbs, which has the Rosa character. So he's still rocking with just Cecil and Edge at this point.
I think I can understand the reasoning behind that.
Oh, I would be interested in understanding this.
Less characters means Edge gets back into the queue faster, means more darts being thrown. You have to parry past Rosa.
Okay, I'll buy it.
Now the question is, am I making this up?
Well, I know you're not making it up because it makes logical sense. It's a thing. Now, is it a wise thing is a different question. So both runners have now pretty much run over each other's footsteps at this point in time. So the only thing we have left to do, it feels like, is to do the hook route, or we have the Baron key. So I suppose we can just immediately dive in and do the Baron route if we so choose.
And both our runners will likely be able to handle whatever's in there. Now the other big advantage right now, that early shopping spree from Possum Morpheus has found the Crystal Sword and that pass.
Yeah, that Crystal Sword is available in the Village of Mist. So we haven't seen Leonhardt head that direction. At least, I mean, he's flown by, but hasn't seen any inclination. You get the sense that he's happy with his lightsaber that he picked up.
Okay.
Leonhardt does have a Crystal Sword? Okay.
He did pick up the Crystal Sword. Which I didn't see. It might be a Crystal Shield you're thinking of.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, but I miss a lot because I'm trying to keep track of multiple things at once. So, meanwhile, both of our runners have opted to go ahead and do Baron Castle prior to diving the hook route. Completely logical choice.
For Leonhardt's sake, I hope Demon's in here because that will incentivize him to go straight to Mist.
Well, that's one of the things about the boss hunts that's really something that I think I've learned about when I do the Blue Moon seeds. There's two, boss checks that you can do outside of the early check, where we have, of course, our really, really wonderful gauntlet check that's right away. We also have two other boss checks that we can do. And when you're in a boss hunt, 2 checks is fantastic.
Also, say hello to Senator Crocodile, everyone. As we saw on Possum Morpheus' side, Electfishes absorb electric.
Yeah, these ranges aren't what you necessarily want to see. I do like that Leonhardt is also using his melee characters just for the shorter battles. Just, hey, let's melee stuff down, which is a little bit faster than sweeping everything. But this is a great side-by-side race between these two right now. It's both of them really showing kind of different strategies and different ways to build yourself up and play the game, but they're both still doing very, very well.
Yeah, these are lightning quick clears. Come on, Possum. I was really hoping you 2-straight this one. I set you up for it.
All right. right, so Possum finishes and is off to the King Room. Will we get a boss hunt or something else?
How about some sisters?
I seem to recall Possum finding a mute dagger somewhere or buying a mute dagger. Or he can just use a boatload of Gaia drums.
Now, this spot actually does have some magic defense. Like a fairly substantial amount of it.
Yeah, those drums aren't doing a ton of damage. I mean, one sister down, but okay, yeah, we're going to dart from there.
Okay, I guess it didn't matter which character got charmed, the fight was going to end either way. When we find Arcane, that is the entire vanilla party is together.
Well, the entire vanilla party is going to be together on Commander's side. Possum still hasn't picked up his Rosa.
Minor detail. That is a leg and a turtle saving us today. That's a thing.
Look, anything that you can wedge in between the floor and a moving wall will save you at that point in time. And just in time for us to get Cade, we got a White Lance.
Now I'm picturing that was just like the leg lamp that someone broke off and wedged into the wall.
I've heard of worse ideas. I mean, yeah.
Oh, it is wrong club. This isn't Film Friends.
I will be waiting for the Film Friends race that specifically references the leg lamp.
I think Christmas Story might be a little too old.
Meanwhile, Possum taking a second to go ahead and manage his inventory. That is something that, when you can freely buy whatever you want to in a seed, does tend to crop up from time to time. The dreaded inventory boss.
And with some familiarity with Supermarket Sweep, which is what this effectively is with Dupe Glitch and Wild Shops. Yeah, the big part of that, the skill that flag set is not running into the inventory boss.
Oh, that was her Dark Knight Cecil sitting on the Baron basement throne. So evil Cecil thinks he's going to be the king. Oops.
Now that is, K-Summon is not on. That's not a boss hunt. We will fight that never.
In the meantime, Possum is now on his way to go get his Rosa. Meanwhile, Leonhard, it looks like, might be checking to see what this early Rydia summon is going to be, which could really get Rydia going in online here.
Shiva's not the worst.
Not good enough to save. Reset out.
Yeah, I think that may have been a silver bust kind of play. Maybe Titan, probably not.
Worth at least checking. Now, we do have K-Trap, so it's possible, and Possum Orpheus is actually going to show us here, is setting up, is going to be on his way up to the Tower of Zot, which has one trap treasure chest up in it. So we'll at least be taking a peek, seeing what's going on up in here. Check to see what's going on in the trap chest there. Could also take a peek at the boss there as well. And it looks like Leonhardt is going to be doing something very similar. They are just a room behind one another. This is a very exciting race if you like these kind of straight line races that these two are embarking on.
And the way K-Trap is laid out, any area that just has a single trap chest has the exact same weighting, probability of having a key item, as a K-main check. Which makes stuff like the Flame Dog chest, the 2 traps on the hook route, I guess Last Arm, the hair dryers, all very valuable checks.
Absolutely. So, in the meantime, the first 2 treasures did not contain the trap chest, so we have to go quite a bit deeper. Xenocat also pointing out, also warriors in Fey March. We have to go quite a bit deeper now to check these treasure chests, which isn't fun. Oh, Commander gets to it first by going middle route. We're not going to be talking about moon routing, top or bottom. We're going to be talking about which door, 1, 2, or 3, and Zot is your preference check from here on out.
And today, your doggo is behind door number 2. And behind door number 2, we've won an Artemis bow.
I can hear the beamers from here screaming, "Let Rydia hit things." Oh, here's something interesting. Possumorpheus reset out of all of Zot and said, "Nope, I don't care." Leonhardt, after checking the boss, is going to have to warp out from Rydia. A very heads-up play by Possumorpheus. He's going to be able to... he just said, "Nope, there's nothing up in this Zot worth my time right at the moment." So he reset out completely.
Exactly, and it's a very heads-up play. Either just not making a save or making second save, so you can decide, I don't want any of this.
It's those sort of micro plays that you make, where to safety save, where to create those sort of reset point opportunities that differentiate really, really good runners from absolutely great runners, I've found.
Agreed entirely. Now, here's where not having vanilla traps off K-Trap gets fun. There are 3 trap chests in here. We don't know where they are, or which one is where.
We've already been struggling with inventory. There's a lot of what could probably politely be called junk throughout here.
That's one way to put it.
So first trap chest, Commander is just starting. Possum is just finishing up. Oh, that's Twin Harp.
We know Possumorpheus is going to fade that until the end of the seed. I like that in chat. They're not junk, they are value challenged items. Very well put.
Well, you know what? Value challenged items is a fantastic term that I will immediately forget 5 minutes from now, but I want to acknowledge it. Well done.
That's well done. You gotta chuckle on it both.
All right, so we have Mad Ogre's second chest on Possum's side. Commander just finishes up and gets his Twin Harp. and feels horrible because I don't know anyone. It's been kind of en vogue to try to dodge the Twin Harp check if at all possible, in part just because of the long cutscene for one boss check and one key item.
You say Fade Twin Harp until, Rubicon's there.
Which he could be, absolutely. Looks like Possum got through that Mad Ogre check with no other key items, and here's our third.
Unfortunately, Xenocat, the Magma Key cannot be at Twin Harp.
Yep, this is a forced hook route, so no matter what happens, we have to go through the hook.
Yep. Unless we end up with finding the darkness from one of these chests, and our other two boss hunts are on the moon.
Early darkness would absolutely make this just super spicy right now, because it is just 2 boss checks, and our other 2 objectives are absolutely on the moon.
Oh. Despite what I just said about Possum Morpheus being a huge proponent of Fade Harp, he's going to do Harp.
This kills him. This is hurting Possum Morpheus' soul right now. Everyone who knows Possum Morpheus knows he is in physical pain right now doing this harp check. But at some point, he knows the meme is for him to hate the harp check, so him doing it is off script. So I get it, I respect it. I'm really confused by it. Possum, you mad lad?
Possum Morpheus, blink twice. Blink twice if the harp's got you held hostage.
You know what? It's okay. It's okay. It's a main check, and you okay. I'm at this point. I'm nodding and smiling. We will be treated to early music via Possum Morpheus of all runners. I bow to you, sir.
And so we will be quiet while DJ Spoony B plays us some tunes.
Okay, first of all, that was an amazing song. And I agree with Chad. If you haven't played Chrono Trigger, it is worth a playthrough, even to this day. 2, Possum Morpheus extra trolled us. And 3, we have a scoop of vanilla with Earth Crystal here. All right. Meanwhile, we did get that Earth Crystal, and Possum's like, well, I've already wasted enough time up in Tower Zot. Might as well finish it off, which I respect. Oh, are we? Are we getting a treasury check, or is he going to troll us again? Yeah, Possum. I saw you do this before. Thanks, troll. Fade that treasury.
Okay. Right, now we've had the second, or the encore of Chrono Trigger.
Oh, I was talking over that entire thing, wasn't I? And I didn't even realize we had switched over.
Yeah, yeah.
My apologies,
the
chat.
treasury fading. Very well played, Possum.
Look, I let the song play through once. I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah. Letting, okay. Thanks so much.
Hey, it's a great song. I want to hear it again.
I mean, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I kept on talking, thinking, where's Dave? I hope I didn't scare Dave away. And, oh no, there was music. Okay, I get it. Anyway, so, Possum.
I heard the music and started thinking I wanted to play Chrono Trigger.
Meanwhile, both Possum Morpheus and Commander Leonhardt have decided, after fading Tower of Zot, getting that Vanilla Earth Crystal, and saying, well, Destiny clearly has me coming to Tower of Zot.
Meanwhile, at the tower.
Epic bassline, by the way. Great music writing there. And here's our final character. Do we swap anyone out for Fu? I don't know.
Maybe Rydia.
Rydia, just because you have two Bacchus casters and you don't really need anyone else to sweep through?
I think Phosmorphs is keeping Rydia down as an anchor.
Guys, everyone has defense swords. You have the best weapon for King.
The other argument would be, this is Edge perspective. It's out of flavor to eat the child tonight.
Oh, but we yeeted the child. Possum absolutely yeeted the child.
Edge is already plotting the betrayal. Going to Kane for tips.
Look. She already rejected him. He's giving her space until she comes around. It's okay. It's okay. You respect her opinion when she says no, and let her walk. That's what I'm saying, Edge.
It's kind of a rude fight up here. Although if you can get the Star Veil off, the magic power up here means that Golbez will very quickly end the fight.
Oh, Possum has a party. He has crystal rings on everyone in his party, so no one got paralyzed. Not going to be the same for Demolish, so he's going to have some folks down.
But you're guaranteed to get a Veil off.
Yes, absolutely. Although Yeah, he'll get a veil off, for sure.
Or Bacchus up the Cecil and let the Crystal Sword do its thing.
True. I don't think this is a very high magic attack spot either way, so it's probably good.
Oh, it is. It's a very high magic attack spot.
Oh, just because to have the stone hit?
Yup.
Okay, well...
Yeah, Go ahead.
I was going to say, it doesn't really matter because one hit from Crystal Sword Cecil means never having to say you're sorry.
It's a good point. Yeah, it's the stone and the weak cast. They wanted both to hit, so this spot has very high magic. I'm fairly certain neither of those characters would be able to tank the virus.
Well, not with an attitude like that. And we have a Luca key, so it is the end of the chain. We now must go underground via the hook.
Does Leonhard hit the 50-50 here? He does. Actually, didn't matter. It went off beforehand, and yeah, it's a 1,700 point virus.
Yeah, okay, that was a very, very strong virus.
And a 5,000 point lit 3.
Meanwhile, Possum is back to purchasing just about everything.
Hey, some finally made cabins. Can't argue with that. I could see, he thought about strength rings. He decided against it.
Oh, just Backroad glitched his cane and said, hey, let's go ahead and open up some of these treasures as we're going through here. Found another defense sword because why not?
Well, remember, K-Trap is on, and there is one trap chest along this route.
I don't recall if Possum actually opened any of the treasures in the opening in the first three.
I believe he did.
Did he? Okay. I just didn't see. Again, I was paying attention to Leonhard. Always paying attention to the wrong runner.
So, I'm very aware of these two traps because I've forgotten them multiple times in the Tango.
You haven't forgotten them. They just were lower on the priority because everything else just ended up working for us.
I didn't forget them. They were just allocated to a different part of my memory.
In the meantime, looks like Leonhard is doing... I mean, at this point, it's the exact same thing. There's a duplicate Cecil there.
Oh, Demus on the hook route.
I mean, normally, I think that was pretty rude, but we're at good levels. We're at... I mean, it's a little bit slower, but it's not as nasty as it could be normally.
Still funny, especially because it's got a key item check. So this is a question I've got. I'm not sure the answer of it. Is it possible for that Demus to have the magma key?
For Forced Underground, that's... because by the time you beat it, you then have full underground access. So it's... I don't know if it's technically considered a quote-unquote underground boss or not. Fiery Blizzard making a point. Possum has not opened too many treasure chests so far, just fine bypassing this trap chest.
And we did see Leonhardt pick up the strength rings from here, not having crystal rings to equip. Decided, I want a little bit more power.
Yeah, Possum reset out. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think.
It's okay.
If I think he realized I forgot to open a few chests.
And that's the struggle, and it's something that we see, I think, more frequently when we're in the club's season, where there's all sorts of different flag sets going on, all sorts of different maps going on. You get into a rhythm, and then you forget, oh, K-Traps are on this week, so I have to go back and open treasure chests. You see it less in tournament season, but you still see it every now and then where you get confused about the flag set.
Yeah, the answer to that is only play things with K-Trap on.
I like the way you think, sir.
Yep. We apologize to everyone. Just a little tech issues.
We're back, and we're at Demas now with... Oh, that's a bold play. Bacchusing up Cecil?
We have ways to stop him from swinging if we get to missed phase. Oh, with these darts and nukes coming, I don't think we get there.
Yeah, I don't think we get there either. The issue is that Demist is a light elemental. It's allowed to let Cecil do a little bit more damage with the dark swords. So the holy swords, much like Octomom, don't do as much damage. And Crystal Sword, and we're throwing lightsabers, aren't the powerhouses that they are in any other fight.
And that is punch number 3, so we're missing out after... Or Demon's next turn is to missed out.
Oh, but we get through from the looks of it. Whew.
Gets that dart in just before. I'm going to assume the play would have been, had that not finished it, toss a coffin at Cecil.
Yeah, that would have sped things up and prevented a lot. Meanwhile, Commander is starting his elements fight, while Possum is now into the underground. So what's the play here? We need a Darkness Crystal for sure, and then we need to do King and Queen Eblin, which, huh?
Yeah, I'm thinking top of tower is the play.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that's the play too, huh?
Maybe hit the 4 traps on the way up.
Yeah, that's what I would end up doing at this point in time. Just hoping to find the Darkness Crystal. But a wise man once said, "Do your objectives," and that's an objective.
Yep, I know if I'm running this, I'm landing and making a U-turn going straight back up. And our runners are in agreement. Four checks from the traps, a guaranteed objective at the top.
It is worth noting that we do not have the tower key, so there is a possibility that we might have to come back here at some point. But you never know. So you have to come up here and do at least this. You might as well just knock it out.
To answer a question from Lord Goober in chat, yes, King Queen Evelyn was spotted at top of tower.
So that's 2 trap chests down. Oh, and a power room right as well. Very nice pickup.
Not a key item, but I don't think anyone's going to complain about that.
He's getting all of the trap chests relatively early. That's 3 very, very quick.
This tower's being very kind. Leonhardt, slightly less offense just due to not having the crystal sword, but still gets through this Demus without any major problems. I don't even think we saw a third punch come out on that side.
No, I don't believe so.
Very well done getting through that from both our runners. That spot, Demus there could be very trolly.
Yeah, and to see both of them get through without a transformation, very, very well done from both of our runners. And there's our 4th. Wow.
Except, both our runners couldn't dodge that pitfall.
Raise your hand in chat. If you're like me, at one point in time, I grinded. When I was a kid, I would grind my levels up until Rosa learned float, thinking that if I floated and just floated over the pitfall, I would win. Anyone else do that as a kid? No? Just me?
I can see the logic there.
It made sense to me, and when it didn't work, I was heartbroken, and probably called the game lots of names at that point.
We saw Leonhardt run past and realize, hey, I should actually spy what's up there, and gets rewarded for doing a quick check back. And we're making the same play. You see an objective, you do your objective.
I mean, it's good. It was a very well-known saying throughout Free Enterprise, especially through different seasons of tournaments. If you have an objective to do, go do your objective. Because it just made good common sense. And it still holds true to this day.
Alright, even if it doesn't turn anything else, still an objective off the board.
And oh, by the way, there's our darkness crystal. So, what do you do at this point? Do you just YOLO the moon at this point?
I think my play would be at least peek the bosses in the Fey March and Dwarf. Here's the thing, you have access to almost every boss fight in the game right now. We might just be face-checking boss. I think you face-check the 3 bosses down here, and then go to the moon. 4 bosses, I guess. You have Luca Key. How about you?
Yeah, I'd probably face check. I at least face check Fate March. And then I might make a strategic. I would probably face check Luca because that's a quick reset out.
Yeah, and
I might also be worried a little bit about my grind just because I'm a little bit underleveled. So if I happen to find sirens along the way, then cool. But yeah, at this point, I. So here's the deal. The only key items right now that can unlock a boss spot that have any benefit to me whatsoever: tower key, package. That's it.
Yep.
Those are the only 2 key items that unlock any sort of boss spots. I stop hunting key items right now. I have a boss hunt and then 2 other places that I'm already unlocked. I'm good.
I agree completely here. Now, if you haven't found sirens, there's an argument to be made if you can get a good setup to take some of the higher value traps for XP. But as Ikir is pointing out, sirens were found.
Where were Siren? Because I know it's T-Wild, so it doesn't necessarily have to be in the Underworld.
Right, and sirens are guaranteed to be somewhere. We also have access to every single item shop, so our runners can find them. Under S Wild, every consumable item is guaranteed in a shop unless a flag specifically says otherwise. For example, the no apples flag, we didn't want this to turn into an apple seed.
Thank goodness, because apple seeds are stressful.
And Leonhard finding his darkness crystal, and we'll see what he decides to do with it. Thank you for buying those carrots. They did not go unnoticed.
Is that another meme I'm unfamiliar with?
And some people have taken to feeding the big chocobo various things. He's a big fan of crystal swords. Neither of those in the Feymarch is a Ruby sprite, so we will fight them never. And Berserk now is pointing out that I was incorrect. Technically incorrect. Cool Shop is not available. But we all know Cool Shop is going to be something like Cure 1's Spears.
Okay, so Possum just checked the first boss there in Dwarf and said, nope, I'm good.
Do you see what the sprite was?
It was Dr. Luge.
Alright, we know the second boss is a Sparkle. Since both the runners have done Zot, they know what that boss is, which is why this is a quick check.
Possum coming over here to do the Sheila 1 check at 8 key items.
And this might be a play for 10.
I can see it kind of being a play for 10, but you're hoping to get a 10th one somewhere along the way. But I understand it. Oh, Sheila and D missed. Okay. Xenocat
Right.
pointing out.
Plus, we know the lunar bosses cannot give key items. Because
That is true. Absolutely true. They can't be KMs, but they can be bosses.
they can. They cannot be key items. We also know the lunar traps cannot be key items. I had to do a quick peek to see if Kano Free was on. As Lord Groove was pointing out, the Hairdryer chest can give a key item, that, as can the Last Arm chest on a Giant. I should have been specific. The LST traps cannot give key items.
just a life staff from Possum, so won't be looking at 10 key items right at the moment. So at this point, is it still worth even turning in the Village Mist?
Yeah, you're here. Why not?
Because you got to go fast. Meanwhile, Commander Leonhardt went ahead and he is going to turn in complete Dwarf Castle. Blink and you miss it, so Dwarf Castle is already done. Hi, man.
Oh, Scala, what a wonderful troll that was.
Slow clap there. Well done. Alright, so Leonhardt receives the Adamant Rock from doing Dwarf Castle. At this point, it's just a race to who goes to the moon first, honestly, I think.
Now, I do like the play of at least peeking the 4 bosses down that you have available down here, just in case. You don't necessarily fight them, but not necessarily fight them, but just in case one of them's Rubicon.
No, that's fair. Okay, this check is available, so let's do it.
And I'm kind of hoping Ruby's here because I've ever seen what the Glare does at this spot.
Well, Ruby moves pretty fast anyway, and this is a very, very speedy spot, isn't it?
It is one of the fastest in the game, and also very high magic. So no one in this party can tank a Glare.
Possum is cleaning up the last of the key item checks right now. Still hunting for that 10th key item. Very well could be here now.
And the Silks, by the way, giving a nice shiny stick. That is 10. And a boss check.
Okay, now's the question. Do you do it? Do you do that first? It's a rat tail, by the way. Okay.
I think if you've committed this hard to delaying the moon, you have to.
Yeah, I'm kind of on board with you there. If you're this committed, you got to do it. And that's a Kenyatzo, by the way.
Oh. We're about to see a Chocobo get some delicious Chocobo Chow. Delicious,
Really?
Delicious crystal swords.
I will never understand some memes here.
Don't worry, neither will I. We do see on Leonhardt's side, right idea, wrong element.
Alright, so Siren's out, and we're at 1 HP for the entire party, because why not?
You don't plan on taking damage, do you need more than one?
I mean, that's fair.
I'm interested to see how far we're going to grind.
I imagine getting Rosa at least to Cure... I mean, getting close to Cure 4 as is, but, you know, I'm always safe with Rosa at 2,000. That's kind of my cutoff personally.
That's fair. And that's Secure 4 you were talking about?
Meanwhile, Leonhardt done with, and we'll be turning in both the Rat Tail and Pigtail.
Did Commander turn the Pigtail earlier and get the Moonveil?
He may have. So, I mean, either way, but turning in the Rat Tail now.
Yep. Oh, turning in Demus first. Going to be rewarded with a pan and not necessarily having to traverse Sylph Cave twice.
Hey, Commander, go down and pick up a crystal sword while you're it's at the shop.
Yeah, this. Oh yeah. Or, hear me out. Just go pan bonk.
I mean, he's probably going to do that either way, so that's fine.
So this will be good. We'll be on a Big Shiny Stick parody.
Yep, that will be good. Meanwhile, Possum, I think, is done. Maybe one more. Yep.
And just one more Siren. One more for the road.
Yeah, getting Rosa up to 2,000 HP. Just like I said. Or not, you know.
Two more for the road.
Maybe you have to be a liar.
Commander Leonhardt gotta be relieved finally having that crystal sword in hand.
Yeah, not that the defense sword is bad. You know, defense sword is certainly serviceable for endgame stuff. But crystal sword just makes everything fun and fast.
Yeah, it's approximately twice the power. Bit of an upgrade.
Okay, now, meanwhile, Possum Morpheus is going to be checking the Luca Cave before he ascends to the moon. I like the play. I respect the play, just making sure you're clearing everything out, doing a quick check, just to ensure that once you leave, you're not coming back to the blue planet.
Crystal ring from the Rat Tail. Okay. Looking I can see in these inventories, both parties are very well geared. Also, good job both the runners finding the cursed ring that was sitting in the Tower of Babel.
Absolutely. And we kind of expected this, though, when we saw not only T-Wild, but also S-Wild and Duke glitches on. We mentioned that very early, that we were going to have the power of equipment very early on. Just a matter of getting those levels.
And Leonhardt may have decided equipment power is enough for me.
So the one thing that Possum has not done yet that I'm curious if he's going to do before going up to the moon, that package. There is one boss that's buried deep in the cutscene once you get to Kaipo. I got to imagine you take a gamble and dodge that, right?
I'm on team Boy of Raven diving the moon, but that's... It looks like Commander's going to show us what's behind the package.
I mean, that's interesting. I mean, this, and it looks like Possum's finally unlocking his big whale and is going to the moon. We might have, I mean, Leonhardt has been still running a fantastic race, but has always been about 3 to 4 minutes behind Possum in a straight line race. If Ruby is here, completely turns this race upside down.
And when you're in a group race, these are the kind of gambles you make.
Absolutely. Racing in a group race is much different than racing in a 1v1.
Now, the funny outcome would be if Rubicon was just sitting in Super Cannon Room the entire time.
Big oof. That would be horrible.
You know, the one boss we don't have access to.
It's entirely possible, and that's something that I think those of us who have been practicing these boss hunt sorts of seeds have come to expect, unfortunately.
Anyone who's been doing a lot of ZZ5 practice, raise your hand if you've cleared 33 bosses before you found your 7th objective.
Me.
And you can't see, but my hand is raised.
Oh yeah, my hand's raised too. Absolutely. So Possum is starting. He's going to take a quick peek into Cave Bahamut. I respect this. Not doing the objectives immediately, at least taking a peek here.
That's Odin up there. Oh, just Dark Elf at the package. The play there may have been, you know, if it's the bosses there, you know you could just run straight down the moon and end the seed.
It would be nice, but meanwhile, okay, our final character check, which is a dupe, and we'll get there. Meanwhile, Leonhardt is also raising his big whale.
After having thoroughly cleared the blue planet. Right, and Iker pointing out, Leonhardt doesn't have the pass, so May just want to make sure he never has to return.
I like the safety save from Possum coming out after the cutscene to save. Shout out in the meantime to Iker for his fantastic job tracking this evening. And also Scala Kitty behind the scenes for the restream help. All the work that the team behind the scenes to allow us to talk about this sort of stuff. When you don't notice it, it's when they're doing the best job. And these two have been A+ tonight. So thank you both, Iker and Scala.
Oh, we're seeing a gamble from Commander Leonhardt.
I like this gamble. I think this is a gamble that you make when you feel like you're behind.
This could also be, I haven't found the pass.
Possum just did something interesting. He did go to the Murrah altar, which is an objective, and he reset out of it. It was Antlion. I think if you're there, you still take it, right?
It's an objective, so I don't know if that's misread the objective list or...
That could be interesting later.
And we'll definitely have to ask about that at the end of this. Yeah, that's Scott's point. That may just be from ZZ5 practice. Said that's not my boss, and immediately smacked the reset button.
Yeah, focusing on Ruby, it's entirely possible, and we've all been doing that right now. I'm trying to figure out how to program. I want like one of those. Remember how Staples? If you're an American, Staples is an office chain that used to sell big gigantic buttons that said "easy" on it, and you pressed it, and it was like that was easy. I want one of those buttons next to my computer that I program in that is just a reset button for my game.
Something spicy on Mary Leonhardt's side. That was the tower key from last arm. So Leonhardt has access to every boss spot in the game.
Leonhardt, are you gonna break my heart here? Are you gonna be our hero?
So now Commander Leonhardt is in full face check mode for Rubicon, which unfortunately we know where it is.
Wah, 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 wah. I mean, although Possum is feeling fantastic right now, let's not get it twisted.
I do like this play from Commander. I just found access to a boss. I want to check it.
This is the play that you make when you feel behind, and he's following through with his gambles, and I appreciate it. I love the play by Commander. It's just one of those rando's gonna rando sometimes, and it's Asura, and it's...
You don't even take the fight.
Yeah.
Yep, and you immediately reset out because, again, have access to every boss spot in the game. There is zero reason to take a fight that's not required at this point. Also, shout out to Pos Morpheus getting the script on Rubicon.
That's uncommon. It doesn't happen terribly frequently.
No, what's the HP threshold on that? Is it like 1%? 2%?
It's a low threshold. I mean, easier to get the higher level it is, obviously, but still difficult. But Possum Morpheus is now in go mode. He has to go do the Murasame altar, the Masamune altar, and then he's good to go. I imagine he'll do Masamune, exit out, do Murasame, and then fly back to Earth because he has that pass.
There may be do the Masamune altar. Why don't I have my crystal? And then look and realize what he did.
That might be it. That might be entirely it.
Fiery, it depends on the spot. It's a percent of the max HP there. If I pull up the...
Yeah, I have no idea. I just roll with it because I know it's tough. This Volvalis, meanwhile, kind of a pain in the tuchus as well. But between all of our melee fighters, this should not be any difficulty whatsoever.
So I brought up our boss scaling chart real quick. At that spot, Ruby is 28,000 HP, and the script triggers if an attack takes him down to 1,112 or less, so approximately 4%.
Leonhardt, meanwhile, has decided that he is going to continue on into the Giant. I respect this play as well because, again, you know you're behind and you got to make some unorthodox plays. So doing Ogopogo here, or doing the Giant, he'll find Ogopogo. I don't know which boss we still haven't seen yet. Maybe Plague. I don't recall off the top of my head, but not going to find his Ruby here.
Up in Pos Morpheus making fairly quick work of Valvalis.
Oh no. Possum, what are you doing, Possum?
Yeah, where are you going, buddy? Oh, I see what... Wait, encounter's on. Oh, this is an encounter.
Yeah, not something you expect to see. The 3 red D encounter. Okay, so...
Yeah, have you met Jimmy, brother Jimmy, and his other brother Jimmy? Despite what the graphic shows, I assure you, there are 3 of them.
Yep, this is one that absolutely confused me as a kid because I said 3, what? And then they would fade, and then it would just immediately be right back there.
Yeah, this is going to give a, what, 300,000 XP or so?
It's going to give quite a bit, yeah.
It's a number. On Leonhardt's side, we see, Zerked up the party, dealing with Ogopogo. And 65,000 HP of Nope Noodle is the thing. Especially at this spot, which I believe is the fastest in the game.
It is very fast, and the Nope Rope deals a lot of damage. It has a huge HP pool. And Rosa is casting Cure 3.
And we're now done playing the enhanced version of Double Dragon down there. On Leonhardt's side, the power couple should be able to deal with this Ogopogo. That's with only 2 targets. Cure 3 is going to heal for plenty.
I am worried about Rosa's MP eventually, just because this is such a large HP pool for just Cecil to chew through.
I'm worried about her HP if she keeps getting hit like that.
Right?
Now, Cure 3 only costs 18 at a time. And Commander Leonhardt is through this Ogopogo.
Woohoo, that was clutch. Rest of the party goes down, so not easy. And now Possum is at this antlion fight.
Ooh. You know you've got some levels when Light Sword darts are doing 5,600.
Only a little bit.
Oh, we'll take a peek at the second boss. I think you're right. It might be Plague.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what we haven't seen so far, and yeah, Plague is the only thing that I can think of that I haven't seen yet.
There's got to be one more boss. I just don't know what it is. Oh. These, fine gentlemen.
These incredibly punchy imps.
They've gone from firing cannons to piloting a whole giant. Moving up in the world.
Oh, and Stone takes care of him very quickly. Well done, Fu. I was going to make a, instead of an actual computer running this giant, it's just 3 imps and a hamster wheel. But
there's your problem. You put all 3 imps in 1 hamster wheel.
it's a wide hamster wheel, okay? It's meant for 3. Meanwhile, Possum swag flying over here to Troya to our the quick way to Zeromus.
Yep, having the pass can just go through Troya and take a shortcut directly there.
Meanwhile, we're trying to set up our best agility possibility right now. So switching the Masas over to Muras, trying to take off the crystal ring, trying to figure out, okay, what realistically is my best agility at 44 right now.
All right, after this, Possum will be heading through the door to deal with Zeromus. I honestly didn't realize Commander Leonard hadn't checked the Feymarch bosses. I could swear I saw him go down here.
I thought we had already seen it as well, but I mean, if you fade it for this long, you're going to continue to fade it. So I still don't fault his play necessarily. Possum is really working to rearrange his party, although at his levels, I think he's got power overwhelming, and I don't know if he really has to worry about agility.
So there we go. We're seeing some Z flags in chat now.
I was gonna say, I haven't seen Z flags much in the past week, chat. You guys are slacking a little bit.
I was gonna say, come on, chat. There's a part. This is like Rocky Horror Picture. There's a little bit of audio participation we gotta do here. So those Z flags are for our final boss, Zeromus. He is too big, too scary. We can't move him. So instead, we give him a makeover. Our restreamer Skull Kitty has done a lot of work making fantastic sprites for our final boss. At this point, we have one question we need to ask. Vitage, would you here do the honors?
Oh, certainly. Let me hang on. Let me clear my throat here a little bit. Whose butt are we gonna kick tonight? Also, alternative questions, such as, is the butt cute? Does the butt have a hat? Is the hat cute?
I'm thinking a nice scary butt for tonight.
I'm always a fan of the sarcastic, the joke butts, personally, but to each their own.
Oh, like IOU miss? That's a good one.
I think Clippy Miss is my favorite, personally, but... Oh.
Okay. Is that? It's like
Chibi-Miss, that's Chibi Zemus, yeah.
Chibi Zeromus? Okay, that's... Well, you were acting for a joke, but...
Yep, this is exactly what I asked for. Thank you.
Thank you, Scala, for telling me where this came from. I had no idea.
Meanwhile, Possum is zerking up everyone, gonna throw an elixir, I imagine, on Edge, who took a nuke to the face, but otherwise it's just a matter of kind of setting your controller down and letting your Zerkers do their thing.
Yeah, with this much HP, so honestly, don't even need to nerf Big Bangs. Everyone not named Fu cannot fall to a single Big Bang.
Even Rose is getting in on the Zerk party. Oh.
Rosa, not a fan of the small and cute version of Zeromus. Feeling a little angry about this.
And doing 2K pop too, like pulling her way.
Come on, Quint.
Get your last Cure 4 in, and then get Quint. Like, gotta get some buffer in there. Meanwhile, Commander is set up and on the endline fight.
Yep, taking this fight on the way down. I think Commander Leonhardt knows Rubicon has to be on the moon, having checked every other boss fight in the game. So it's going to be hit the Mirror Altar, probably go over and hit the White Sphere on the way down, which we know has Ruby, and then Masa, and call it done.
And here are rocks.
I was really hoping Fusoya would get the bonk kill.
That would have been lovely, but no. GG's to Possum Morpheus, who is our club winner, first place for the night, with a time of 1:34.55. GG's to Possum. We'll see if he's available for a chat here.
And Commander, having cleared the Mirror Altar, will be making his way down, and we'll probably just check the 3 bosses down here. Grumble about Ruby being pretty much right next to an objective.
As you do, but yeah, that's the nature of boss hunts.
I think he's got a emote in his chat that may symbolize that. Unfortunately, I am not actually subscribed, so I can't post it.
And joining us now is the one, the only, the man who dared to do 2 laps around the Troya treasury and not open a single treasure chest. Possum Morpheus, how are you doing, man?
Oh, hey, that's me. I'm doing well, thank you. How are y'all?
Oh, we're doing great. So you put on a show for us tonight.
I mean, you got to do the things when you're on the restream, right?
It's very
That's
true.
the point.
I did have one question I wanted to ask. You see the ant lion at Mura? Was that just forgot that was an objective, or?
Yeah, that wasn't Ruby, so I reset, and then it was like, you know what? We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen and that wasn't required, and we'll just come back later.
We kind of speculated that's what happened, probably from ZZ5 practice.
That and the fact that, man, I'm just tired. I streamed a lot today. My brain's all mush. So, yeah.
You're getting getting some practice in?
Doing a mix of Free Enterprise and Worlds Collide. And just kind of one of those things where it was like too much time spent streaming today, not enough time spent on like eating and consuming water and things like that. So, but also wanted to make sure.
Get water?
No, I'm good. I have it. I just need to do to make sure this race went off, and wanted to make sure everyone got to see a show. So I hope y'all enjoyed a few things. My favorite being how the triple red dragon fight stacks, where all 3 go on 1. I don't know if y'all saw that or not, but it basically puts all 3 in the same sprite position, which I think is super neat.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what was that? Just trying to get a few extra levels before diving, or what was your thought process? Like, what was the point of that particular fight?
Oh, it was just something that randomly came up when I was talking to Martin in his stream earlier today about the triple red dragon fight, and it was like, oh, hey, that'd be cool to show off on Restream. So decided to show it off on Restream.
We're glad you showed it to us. Let's see what else was there.
I don't know. It felt like the scene kind of played out in a fairly linear fashion, like for the most part. I mean, you did kind of the overworld stuff. You went to the underground. You opted instead to do more key item checks and kind of clear out, do all of your boss checks in the underworld before going to the moon. It just felt pretty linear, all things said. I guess the only thing you could have done is gone to the moon earlier, but you had the pass, so making the check up on the moon seemed logical, at least the way you did it.
Yeah, it's tough when basically with a boss that's left and it's an X out of X seed, meaning in this case 5 out of 5 objectives. It's really tough to leave anything behind. So it's one of those situations where like you could go to the moon, could even go to the giant, could go and do the package, could go do Luca. Like you could do any number of things, but you run the risk of then having to do everything. And so I was like, well, let me hedge and do some things on Earth. So it was like, peak Feymarch, peak Dwarf 1, peak Luca. Didn't really want to peak package because that's quite the lengthy check. So I was trying to do like the fairly fast things rather than like the really long involved things. The exception being like the Twin Harp, of course, because that's Restream tax. You got to do the Twin Harp when you're on Restream, as much as we'd love to fade it. And then just decided to go after, Zot as well, since that was what came from Twin Harp. So it's just one of those things where like wanted to be somewhat efficient, but still, show off some things along the way.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. That's what I was going to ask about. When were you thinking of pulling the trigger and just going full face check mode?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot harder when it's require all. If it's like 7 of 8, which is what ZZ5 is, you're just going to the moon in that case. More likely than not. Maybe you peak like Dwarf 1 and go. You just reset out of it. Peak to Feymarch and just leave. But when it's require all, I think you have to be a little more diligent. Maybe I'm wrong on that, and I could be. That's my gut on it.
I think it comes down to how much you feel like gambling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am historically not a gambler. So there is that. How
much work did that early crystal? Because I mean, you did your dupe glitch very early. You had all the money in the world you could possibly want. And one of the first shops you check, like within the first 5 minutes, is that missed shop with Crystal Sword. How much heavy lifting did that Crystal Sword end up doing for you over the course of the whole seed? Because it felt like it did quite a bit.
I mean, the Crystal Sword was nice. Just Edge having darts was nice too. The early J items was nice. Or were nice. The Crystal Sword certainly picks up steam as the seed goes. Early on, darts kind of handle the majority of it, but once you get into, especially with like a forced hook route, certainly the Crystal Sword helps there. When you get into like your Dwarf Castle checks, any sort of like tower check, a Luca check, Feymarch, Moon, Giant, any of those later game checks, the Crystal Sword really picks up steam. So it lets you easily transition from the early / mid game straight to the end game with, kind of a just add levels thing. So in this case, it was, I don't know how many sirens I did, like 6-ish, 8, I don't know. It was enough. And that just lets you then just blow everything up. And I was like, okay, cool. We, 5 minutes into the game is basically over. You just got to get there.
I know you're back when it was its own ladder flag set, you were a huge Supermarket Sweep player. Did that knowledge of that flag set influence your routing here a lot?
Early on, it influenced the shop checks. I know how important looking for certain things is. Looking for any strength modifying gear is incredibly important. So the bandanas and the black belt were priority. I prefer crystal rings over strength rings for the defense as well as for the agility. It combines well with the extra strength boost you get from everything else. So just knowing what to look for from playing a lot of that supermarket sweep flag set, it helps with the shopping more than anything else. Otherwise, it's quite different. Like as soon as you throw traps in, it changes the routing significantly, because you have to start factoring in things, and demist. So you have to start factoring in things like, the demist check, your like Zot 1 check along with the Flame Dog, your Eblin chests, things that you just would never check on Supermarket Sweep. So it really only helps with the very, very early game. But if you can optimize the first 10 minutes, you're probably off to a really good start.
And that perfect way of putting it.
I guess, meanwhile, we don't want to keep you too much longer as Commander Leonhardt is about to start his Z fight, but Possum, tell us about, I presume you're planning on competing in the upcoming tournament, and you have to do the Red Moon, don't you?
Yeah, so I am gated into the Red Moon, which I will be participating in. If I could play Blue Moon, I would. I like the flags better. It's not to say that I don't like the Red Moon flags. I'm just a one who desires all of the power in the world and leveraging said power. And the Blue Moon flags allow you to do that with a little bit less thinking and ingenuity, if you will, making everything come together than Red Moon. That being said, my absolute favorite thing of either flag set is that you get the customized bosses, if you will, where it pulls from a pool of like all the gross things out there. So I am looking forward to like getting those seeds where you just have to run through a gauntlet of like Golpez and Evil Wall and Ogopogo and Val and the Gauntlet and just the who's who of nasty. And of course, as Scala is pointing out in chat, so I did go and open this up now, the 1% Water Hag. Which we have to credit Scala for as well. It'll be really fun. I do enjoy a good boss hunt, and I specifically enjoy fighting tough bosses. I think that's going to be a really challenging thing with some of the parties you'll end up with. But I think it'll be really fun, and it'll be a good test of myself and others. So definitely looking forward to it.
And we're looking forward to see if you can, repeat from Adamant Cup.
I never thought I'd win a tournament, so, I'm just going to stick with the mantra of I never thought I'd win one, so I never thought I'd win two. I doubt I will, and I'll keep trying to play that underdog role and see how far it gets me.
Well, I don't know if you can play it too hard, but we'll be rooting for you either way, Possum, at least until you face one of us. So.
Well,
absolutely.
Fortunately, the two of us are going to be hiding in the other... Are going to be in the other one.
You call it hiding. I call it strategically choosing my route.
Well, I will say I love the competition that's going to develop from the Blue Moon flags and the Blue Moon group itself. I know there's going to be a lot of folks in there, and there's a lot of extraordinarily talented folks in there who, if they were to go into the Red Moon flags and that bracket, they would challenge up there as well. There is no... lesser group. Both groups are phenomenal. So I look forward to watching both sets. I think it's going to be a great time.
I look forward to seeing what happens in this one.
Definitely. Well, I thank y'all both for your time and for doing comms. Dave, Vitasia, always a pleasure to get to chat with y'all. Ike here doing the tracking, Scala, of course, on Restream, and Firebird Lover for putting together a great club. Always have fun doing this one. So thank y'all, and I hope everyone has a great night.
You as well, and thank you so much, Possum. Possum Morpheus, our club winner for the evening. Give him a follow here if you like what you saw on Twitch. Meanwhile, Leonhardt is in his Chibimus fight. Looks like everything's zerked up. Even got Rosa casting some whites here in support.
I honestly thought that last Big Bang was nerfed. Also, I think that was a tip in the Meteos, seeing as how there was no counter nuke from that white or no counter weak from that white cast. Apologies.
Yep, that's into the Meteo right there. Although, party's looking a little bit weak, so gotta get through here.
This is fine. Cecil's got enough HP to tank a Meteo.
Oh, crash, boom, bang, and that does it. Commander Leonhardt does finish.
Or, you can take the Meteo by simply not seeing anymore. We did have other people running off stream. We had Firebird Lover, the club captain, finishing with a time of 136, and Ribbon Quest finishing in 137.
Very close. So Leonhardt does finish. Fourth place, 149.09, and we'll see if Leonhardt is down for a quick chat.
Yes, GG's to our off-stream finishers. And by that thing, we're joined by Commander Leonhardt. GG's, Commander.
Thank you. I played myself.
Hey.
Yeah, you say you played yourself, but we say you followed your logic, and while randoed you, it made perfect sense what you did.
Thank you.
Hey, sometimes on a boss hunt, you just see every boss. We've all been there.
I mean, no. By the time I got underground after my Twin RPG tour, and I saw King Queen, and I saw darkness behind it, I'm like, okay, so this is the play. You go straight underground without the detour, get King Queen Evelyn, you get darkness, you go up to the moon, you knock out the altars, and then you immediately check the moon for Ruby. Nobody's done yet. Clearly, Ruby is not on the moon. Granted, we were only an hour in at the time, but as we got to an hour 10, hour 20, I'm like, yep, definitely not Ruby on the moon. Definitely not Ruby on the moon. About that.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I think you just overestimated how far behind you were, because we had Possum Morpheus on the same stream, and you were, not more than a minute or two behind him in lockstep kind of the whole way through the underground, and then you guys both got the Darkness Crystal, and then that's where the path diverged, where it felt like you prioritized all the other checks at that point, which, like we said, it made perfect sense because you felt like you were behind, so you wanted to make those gambles. It just randoed.
Yeah, and so many times I'm like, oh, it's got to be here. I get the tower key out of the last arm. I run for it. I'm like, oh, it's there. This makes sense. This makes perfect sense. It all makes sense now. Then it's a Sura, and I'm like, huh. Then I see the Ogo, and I'm like, oh, this makes sense. Nobody wants this fight. Ruby is obviously behind this Ogo. Nobody, even if somebody wants to peek the giant, they're going to look at this Ogo and say, I ain't got time for that. I'm moving on. Obviously it's here. And then I see the Dark Imps, and I'm like, okay. I don't know now. Clearly, I don't know how to meta. That's why I often don't try.
Well, you showed us everything, so if we had any questions on where anything was, you at least showed us where it was. So kudos to you there. So it's interesting because these sorts of boss hunt seeds, obviously we're getting ready for tournament season. ZZ5, Blue Moon, Red Moons are both big boss hunts. How much practice have you been doing? Is a boss hunt like this related to any of the training you've been doing for those seeds, or what's your thought process there?
Yes, because with a boss hunt, and also with this being Force Hook, that comes into play here too, because the blue and red moons will also be Force Hook. Once you have Hook and Darkness, there's not much left you need to look at. At that point, there are only 6 key items that are hiding bosses once you have Hook and Darkness. And once I scooped the tower key, I had my 6th. I knew at that point I was in face check mode. And that's largely due to the massive amount of Blue Moon practice I've been doing.
Hey, that actually answers the next question I was gonna have, which is, which moon are you gonna be joining?
Blue, definitely blue. I mean, you might be looking at this and going, you ran lockstep with Possum, and if you had made the same choice, you'd have been breathing down his neck. Clearly, you could handle red. Maybe. I could. But it's been a bit touch and go with the asyncs. I've tried the blue, I've tried my red, I've compared my times, and blue is where I feel I ought to be.
Hey, we look forward to seeing you run in Blue Moon.
Looking forward to it too.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts about the perspective of Edge Seed or the club as a whole, or anything else on your mind here, Commander?
Club's a lot of fun. Club has been fun throughout. Firebird Lover / Gemini has done a good job every week finding a flag set that works for the particular hero and covers their journey through the vanilla with the objectives and the characters and which ones are available and restricted, and balancing the other factors of the flag set as well. We got our T-Wild, S-Wild, and Dupe glitch finally because, Edge is the one that shows that off. And there's been things like that throughout. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm hoping that FBL gives it another run for Season 2. We shall see. That, of course, is up to them. But it's been a lot of fun. Club seasons in general have been a lot of fun, and glad I remembered how to dupe. By remembered, I mean looked it up before I started, because I always forget how to start that mess. But I saw this, and I'm like, oh, yeah, we're going to have to dupe. Got to do that. Other than that, unless the two of you have any final thoughts, thank you both, Engadave and Vatasia, for comms. I'm definitely going to go back and watch this and see, like you said, anything I managed to stay lockstep with Possum for that long, I got to go watch that. And I'll appreciate the commentary as well. Iker, thanks for tracking. I gave you lots to light up. Hope you enjoyed it. And Scala, thanks for another special seed. Huzzah.
Well, GG's to you as well, and good luck to yourself for the tournament coming up. Only not too much luck in case you run into me or Dave or something.
I mean, good luck to everyone running. May we all have good luck and put on fantastic shows, and may whoever the best runner is on that particular day win.
Hear, hear. And cheers to you. Commander Leonhardt, everyone. If you liked what you saw from him as well, go ahead and give him a follow here on Twitch. GG's once again. Once again, special shout out to both of our featured runners, Possum Morpheus and Commander Leonhardt, putting on a show, showing us exactly how it's done here in the free enterprise community. Also, again, one last shout out to all of the folks behind the scenes, Ike here for tracking, and Scala Kitty, of course, for the restream and rolling this fantastic seed. And of course, my co-commentator, Engadave. I love it when we get to work together in the booth, other than just running and seeds together.
Yeah, it's a big shout out to Vitasia as well, my co-commentator, 2v2 partner. I believe that is it for us tonight. Remember, we have our Monday community race tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern, featuring the Red Moon flags of our upcoming tournament. for now, we'll be heading over to visit Martin Broadcloak, who is running probably Blue Moon flags right now, I believe.
Yeah, from the sounds of it. Remember, do not spoil the ends of this race. I'm sure Martin will want to know about that. But otherwise, have a fantastic rest of your night. We'll see you, everyone, tomorrow night for that Redmond Flags race. Have a good night, all.